All right, we have a 2004 Mazda 3 with the 2.0 liter in it, and we're going to be removing the starter. And the first thing that you're going to have to do is either get it up on ramps. I've got mine blocked up, but some ramps or something, get it off the ground enough where you can, because you're going to have to get underneath it, and definitely get it up on something safe. And the first thing that we have to do is, if you can see, we're right here on the right side of this intake here, and you go down and there is this, and you can see right below that where I got my ratchet position, and there, right there, is like a bracket, and that's the first thing that we have to get off. Now what I found was it was easier to get underneath the car and place this extension on here and get the socket on, which is I'm using a 12 millimeter. This is the first set of nuts you have to remove. It's a 12 millimeter, and it's a deep socket as well. So this, you're not going to be able to see it when you're up here. You're not going to be able to see the nut. So you have to kind of feel for it there. But it's right back in there, and that's the very first thing we have to do is get that loose. So right now I'm just removing the top one, and then we're going to get underneath and remove the bottom one here. One thing I didn't mention, if you don't have if you're not using a big ratchet and using a small like this, get you a little cheater bar, because these things are going to be really tight, or at least one ratchet that's got an extended handle on it. They're going to be really snug. Okay, so I got the top bracket nut loose, that 12 millimeter, and I just got down there with my magnet and grabbed it off of there. So now we're going to move down underneath the car. Okay, so if you come under the car right over to the side of your oil filter, you'll look right up here, and we can see this one, if I can get, okay, right here, we're going to be removing that one. You can see right there, and this one's pretty easy to get to. So we're just going to go ahead and get that off of there. Okay, so we removed that bottom bracket nut, and we're just basically at this point we have the nuts holding the bracket loose. And you'll notice once you get that, get those off there, there's not any slack. You can't hardly pull the bracket back. So what we have to do is make some slack so we can actually pull that thing out of the way to get to the 14 millimeters that are actually holding the starter. Now you'll notice, if I can show you right here, we have just a connector, and all we're going to do is get that connector right there loose, and that's going to free up a little bit of slack, and then we'll see what we're looking at. Okay, we've got that connector off there. Still don't have enough slack. What we're going to do is go ahead and try get this connector loose from the starter. Now you'll notice right here, this, let me see if I can get, it's real hard to get in here where you can see this. There is a cover that goes actually over the nut that holds the wires to the starter. Now all you do with this, right here to the right of my finger, you push in on that tab with a screwdriver. All you do is push in, like towards the passenger side. You push in on that tab, and then it lifts up. So you just push in. You'll push that direction on that tab, and maybe I can show you after I get this thing pulled down, but you push in and then that just flips up, and then when we've got a nut under that we can get to there. So we're going to go ahead and try to get down there and get to that now. Okay, I want to show you right about here where my finger is. Let me see. If you can see that, there is a, it's just really hard. Let me see if I can get underneath here. It's just impossible to get a camera angle. Okay, we're gonna take this right here. We're gonna pry that out, and that's gonna give us some more slack. That just a little fastener that goes into that intake there. We're gonna pry that out. It just kind of like clips in there, and I know I got that light up there shining right in my camera. So we're gonna do that and get some more slack now. Okay, now the next one that I'm going to remove is this one right here. I'm looking at it from the top, and you'll notice that you just have to work from the top and the bottom. Like I said, you just have to get some of these connectors and little zip tie things and loose to get these wires where you can just get this bracket off. The bottom has slack, but the top doesn't, so I'm going to remove that one. The key is just removing as little as we can so we don't have a lot to put back. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so with that one off right here, I was able to get enough slack just to move it over to the side out of the way of the bolt studs that are going to be going through there. And those are going to be 14 millimeter. You'll need a deep well, and you know, the biggest thing is, like I said, just to move it out of the way, just enough where you don't have to put back a lot. And that's all I've done. I took this connector and popped just a few of the wires off the little clips. And even if you break some of these, it's not the end of the world. I mean, these wires aren't going anywhere. They get a little carried away sometimes with zip tying all these things. And you can see right down here, we're looking at the bottom. This is the oil sensor there. And I just pulled that out of the way too. That's the 14, I believe it's a 14 right there. And we're just going to start on the bottom one. It's the easiest one to get to. Like I said, for the top, I like to kind of feel for it from the bottom and get it on, and then I'll go up top and break it loose and everything. So we're just going to go ahead and get this bottom one out here now.